Hi, fifth grade. It's me, Miss Mongel. Today we're going to continue talking about the Titanic and doing some math involving the Titanic. Our data today is different from the other day when we focused on the ship. Today our main focus is going to be on the people. So our table is completely different. We're going to take a look at the directions and then we're going to get started. So the directions say to use the information above to help answer the questions. So it's just like what we have done before. Number 1 says the cost of the ticket would be about 9 times the amount if they were sold today. What would the cost of each ticket be today? So we have to go look at our table and figure out how much a first, second, and third class ticket cost. Let's go up here and I'm going to highlight it. So right here, a first class ticket was $4,350. Now today, it would be 9 times that amount. So our equation for this problem would be 4,350 times 9. That's going to give us our answer for how much a first class ticket would cost today. Now we're going to do the same thing for second class. Second class cost $60 back in 1912. Well, if we were going to figure this out for today, we would also have to multiply it by 9. So our equation to figure out how much a second class ticket would cost today would be 60 times 9. That's going to be our answer for a second class ticket. Lastly, we have third class. Third class cost $40 back in 1912. Well, it's going to cost 9 times the amount that it was back then today. So we're going to take 40 times 9 to get our answer for how much a third class ticket would cost today. Moving on to number 2. Number 2 says, what was the difference in capacity and the total number of people on board? Now, fifth grade, I want you to remember when we're finding the difference, that means that we're subtracting 2 numbers. So let's go look at our data in the chart and then we'll figure this problem out. So we're looking for capacity and total number of people on board. So right here, I see the people on board. So we have 2,223. That's how many people were on the ship. And the capacity is how much the ship could hold. So the capacity is 3,547. So we're going to take these 2 numbers and make it a subtraction problem to figure out our answer and the difference between those 2 numbers. So we're going to subtract 3,547 minus 2,223 to get our answer. Number 3, how many workers, not passengers, were there on board? Okay, so for this one, we're going to have to take a look at our data. And I have it highlighted already above. So the total people on board, there were 2,223 people in total on board of the Titanic. But only 1,324 of those people were passengers. So to set up this equation, we need to make it a subtraction problem. We're going to take the total people on board, which was 2,223, minus the amount of people who were passengers to give us an answer for how many people were workers on the ship. So once again, our equation is going to be 2,223 minus 1,324, and that's going to give us the total amount of workers they had on board of the Titanic. Number 4. How much money did the ship make off of all of the third class tickets? So let's take a look at our data above. Now I highlighted already the third class passengers and how many there were. So there were 709 third class passengers on the Titanic. But now we also have to highlight how much each of those tickets cost. So each one of those people paid $40 for their ticket. But they want to know the total amount of money that all of those third class tickets brought in. So what we have to do here is set up a multiplication equation. We're going to take the amount of third class passengers, which is 709, times the amount that they paid for their ticket. So our equation is going to be 709 times 40. That's going to give us our answer for number 4. Number 5. There were 79 children in third class. How many children were in first and second class combined? So in order to figure this one out, we are going to have to go look at our data and see how many children were on board in total. So let's go take a look. And I have my information highlighted already. So the children on board, there were 179 children on board in total. And we know that 79 of those 107 were third class children. So we need to make this a subtraction equation to see what's left over. And that's going to tell us how many children were in first and second class. So my equation for this problem is going to be 107, which is my total amount of children on board, minus the 79 children that were in third class. That's going to give us our answer for number 5. Number 6. Only 178 third class passengers survived the sinking. How many were lost in the disaster? So for us to figure out this problem, we need to know how many third class passengers there were on the Titanic. So let's go take a look. And I have my information highlighted already. So it shows that there were 709 third class passengers on the Titanic. We also now know that only 178 survived the disaster. So for this problem, our equation is going to be a subtraction problem. We're going to take the total amount of third class passengers, which was 709, minus 178 passengers that survived. That's going to tell us how many people were lost in the disaster. Number 7 says, about how many days old was the youngest passenger on board of the Titanic? She survived. So we need to go look at our chart and figure that out. And I have it highlighted already. So the age of the youngest on board was 2 months old. But our question is asking us how many days old she was. So in order to figure that out, we have to think about how many days there are in a month. And on average, there are about 30 days in each month. So we're going to take the number of days in a month, which is 30, times 2. So we're estimating here. So to figure this out, we're going to take 30 times 2, and that's going to tell us about how many days old the youngest passenger was.